Guys, welcome to Under the Lights, the boxing talk show powered by Sportology TV. My name's Ouney, and this week we've got a huge show for you guys. First of all, we look at the news of Eddie Hearn testing positive for COVID-19 ahead of the Joshua Buatsi Marko Calic fight. We see what he has to say. We also have two tanks, Ohara Davies, the golden contract winner, talk to us exclusively about the win, about the fight on Wednesday night, and what he's going to be doing with all that money. We also have Ali, who spoke to John Evans, who's a journalist in the boxing field, about last weekend's fights between the Charlos and Josh Taylor and Appin and Khongsong, and also previewing this weekend's fight between Joshua Buatsi and Marko Calic. We also have bits from Joshua Buatsi talking about his fight, Chantelle Cameron and other fights on the undercard. So it's a huge show today. Make sure you watch it all. But before you do, before I carry on with the show, make sure you support us. You can like, subscribe, share the content to make sure that this platform grows and we can carry on giving you great videos like this, great shows like this. But yeah, let's talk about the breaking news last night. Eddie Hearn tested positive for COVID-19, had to be sent home today, and this is what he had to say.
As you know, yesterday, so you turn up in the hotel and you go straight to be tested, then you don't see anyone, you go straight to the room, and then you wait in the room for your results. Unfortunately, everybody else came back negative and my test came back positive. So now I have to stay here, I'm in a room, for 10 days. Tom Crowder, do I feel anything symptom-wise? You know what, I feel like I've got a cold, got a blocked up nose. Suppose now I know I've got it, maybe a little bit like small man flu, but nothing major. Bit of a blocked up nose. I had no cough, no temperature, no loss of taste or smell or anything. So, one of them things. But now the pain kicks in. Forget COVID. 10 days in him. Yeah, monoblog. A lot of people saying false positive. We use a company called Prenetics, who I think have got something like a 98% accuracy rate. So unfortunately, I think I have got it, but I guess it affects everybody in different ways. Do you regret downplaying COVID and saying people just have to boost their immune system? No, not really. I think it's important to boost your immune system. I mean, look, I'm not the healthiest guy in the world. I'm alright, a little bit chubby. Train every now and again, but I feel like I've got a cold. What am I going to do for the next 10 days? Honestly, I don't know. Netflix, Insta Lives. Obviously, we've got the show on Sunday. Gutted I'm not going to be there. I can't believe I'm not going to be there. Will you be doing... No, you know, last night, I'm not in the hotel, I'm at home now, so last night was quite embarrassing, actually. The security had to come to my room, fully dressed in visors, masks, gloves, everything, and I had to wear the same, and escort me out through an entrance back into my car to drive home. Not the best.
Well, it shows, guys, COVID-19 can just take anyone out. It's crazy how the world is at the moment. So, you know, be safe, be healthy, and do what you need to do to be safe. But now I bring to you guys someone who's been in the limelight in the last couple of days, the golden contract winner, none other than someone I've known for a very long time in the boxing field, Ohara Davies. OD, how's it going, man? Congratulations on the win.
Things are going great. Thank you very much. I've been so up and down since. Haven't even had an hour to myself. I've been so up and down, but you know, I'm not going to be complaining about the busyness because I won the fight, so I'm just glad. I'm thankful. I can eat what I want. I can get up what time I want. I go to bed what time I want. I'm very happy right now.
You're a man in demand. You've just been on the phone to a few radio channels.
Yeah.
You know, you're a man in demand at the moment. How does it feel?
To be honest, I don't let these things get to my head. I don't let anything get to my head. To me, it's just it is what it is. You have to understand, when you win a fight, you become a lot more valuable. People want to speak to you more. You get a lot more friends, and people want to come around you. It's just a part of the games that I'm in. But I never let anything get to my head. I just gotta stay humble, stay mellow, and just bear in mind that if I lost a fight, it won't be any of this happening. And if I ever do lose again in the future, it's all gonna stop. So don't get attached to these things. Just understand that it's a phase that I'm in now, but it could go at any time.
Odie, let me just talk about the fight with you. In the fight, did you expect Tyrone McKenna to be so disciplined? Because we know Tyrone McKenna likes to come forward, gets involved in a scrap. But in the fight, he didn't seem to. He seemed to be a lot more disciplined than I've seen him before. Did you expect that from him?
He was running from round one. I was thinking, yo, like, what's going on? I was expecting him to come out and fight, but he was on the back foot because he did feel my punching power early. And I don't think it was the right hand. I think it was a jab. I hit him with a good jab early on in the first round, and then he felt that I hit him with a right hand, but it wasn't clean. I felt like he felt that, and he knew if he tries to fight me, eventually he's going to get hit, and he will get stopped. So he tried to run and be smart, play a smart game, but he was on the back foot the whole fight. You can't win a fight on the back foot. You can't win a fight on the back foot. That's why I felt like I just literally cruise through the whole fight in gear one, because I know I got the centre ring. As long as I keep him on the back foot, I'm going to be winning the rounds. And I guess he didn't think about that. So him being disciplined, it helped him to an extent, but he had the wrong game plan. If you're going to run around the ring, throw more shots, hit me with shots. Don't just run around the ring and then miss every shot. That's not how you win a fight.
Let's talk about the scorecards. I know you were surprised with the scorecard itself. When I look online, some people had it towards him as well. So people online seem to have it very close. You said after the fight that you thought you won it by about 7 rounds. What did you feel that you won the rounds by? Was it just him just on the back foot like you just mentioned now, or was it just
one? I was holding centre ring.
Okay.
I was holding centre ring, so that's what gives me. I was on the front foot the whole fight. For 2, I was hitting him with a lot more shots than he was hitting me with. You watch the fight back.
Yeah.
Turn the volume down, because that commentary, it was so biased. So put all the volume down and you just watch the fight. Look how many shots I catch him with. Look how many shots I got hit with. Look at his face after the fight and look at my face after the fight. Clean, no scars, no marks. Look at his face, blood everywhere. Every round I was hitting him with more shots than I was getting hit with. The aim of the game was to hit and to not be hit. And that's what I was doing. And I was on the front foot. So it might have been a bit boring because everyone wanted to see a total brawl. I'm not in this game to have a brawl. I'm in this game to win. And so I won the fight because I was on the front foot and I was hitting him with more shots than he was hitting me with. That's why.
Odie, I've known you for a long time. We know the sort of pivotal point in your career was that Josh Taylor fight.
Yeah.
You know that we lost it, and then after that, you wanted to pick yourself up and focus on the game. Between then, there was times where you were in and out. Your mind was elsewhere. But at this present time, after winning the golden contract, what's your mindset like? Are you fully, happy, fully involved in the sport? Because even now, there was times, like I said, that you were in and out. You weren't really focused, and you were focused. But now, fully focused, yeah.
I'm back focused on the game, back focused on what I love, and as of right now, I'm just enjoying my rest, enjoying my break, eating food, enjoying my life now again. But I know that once it's time to get back in camp, I'm going to be 100% switched on, mind's in the game. And, this second half of my boxing career will be a lot greater than the first, only if I focus and I work hard. So I'm just back on it now. I've learned from a lot of the mistakes that I've made. I'm a lot more older now, a lot more mature now than I was in the past. So, yeah, definitely.
Odie, man, with this golden contract comes big money. Big money. We've seen a lot of fighters who have had a lot of money and then, blow it away or, done silly things with it. What's this Odie going to do with all that money that's going to be coming in?
Money is nothing. Cash is nothing because even if I had £1 million right now, let's say I've got nowhere near a million, not even half of that, not even anywhere near half that. But let's say I had £1 million in the bank right now. I can go and buy a car that can cost £1 million and that whole £1 million is gone. Money doesn't set you up for life. Having the cash flow sets you up for life. I'm not looking at what I earn in one paycheck. I want consistent money coming in every month for the rest of my life, even after my boxing career, whether I'm fighting or not fighting. So I'm trying to invest into the property market right now, trying to buy a few small flats around the Essex area and rent them out so I can get a cash flow. I can get money coming in every month. And that's what I'm trying to do. So after my boxing career is done, I can say, look, I've got something, because I've seen a bit too many pros have a decent boxing career done. And when they're done, they've got one flat and they live in that flat. And I'm like, okay, cool. So how are you earning? They have to work. Working's not bad, but you can still work, but at least have something, at least have another flat. So you've got a small income coming in. So yes, you've got a job, but you've got another small investment bringing in a bit of cash every month. And you can say, from all these years that I've worked hard in my boxing career, I've got this to show for it, and I'm enjoying the fruits of my labour. And I've seen so many pros that don't have that, and I'm like, I don't want that to be me. I want to learn from all the mistakes that they've made.
You know what? I was speaking to Kevin Mitchell last week. I was covering the Frank Warren event, and Kevin Mitchell was there with his fighter Jordan Flynn, and we were speaking about how after boxing, nobody gives a shit about you. You know, unless you're some hotshot and you're in the media or whatever else, nobody cares about you. So at this present time, with this money coming in, you've got to be really sort of careful. You've got to sort of invest smartly, or like Floyd says, you know, make smart moves and stuff. But having someone like Kevin Mitchell around you as well, I know you've gone back to Kev and your old training team before you were with Angel Fernandez. I know he's moved up to Loughborough. But how does it feel coming back to these guys?
Being with Kevin, it's not only Kevin, it's Kevin and also Will Jones. So they're both working together as a team. It feels good because I feel like I was at my best, making the most noise at my best when I was at the Sims gym.
Okay.
And Kevin, and also having Kevin Mitchell as a fighter with me in the Sims gym, knows what blueprint I got put under. So having him and Will now, I feel like I've got that same blueprint back, and that's what I've been following for this last fight. And this last fight is what put me right up there now. That this last fight is what it was the second biggest fight of my boxing career so far. And that's the blueprint that got me that win the other day. It was that blueprint that I had at the Simpsons gym that I done for my last fight that got me the win, and that's got me back up there. Now I just need to be smart and be focused again. That's it. And I need to keep on following the same blueprint, and I'll keep on winning, and I'll keep on being more successful.
Odi, in boxing, do you want to leave a legacy? Is that your aim? What's your aim in boxing?
I don't want to leave a legacy, because when you die, they're gonna forget about you anyway. Or once your boxing career is done, they're gonna forget about you anyway. They're gonna get a new champion. They're gonna get a new champion. So I don't care about a legacy really. I care about securing my future, making sure that I'm happy, that I'm comfortable, and I can live life on my own terms. And that's what I want from boxing. The same way everyone goes out to work not to leave a legacy. I don't see anyone that works in Asda say, you know what, after I leave Asda, I want my picture on the front door. So everyone walks in is going to see my face as the best Asda worker. I've never seen anyone say that. Like, who cares about legacy? Once you're done, you're done. You are there to make money. It's business. You're there to get paid and to live your life. That's how I see boxing. It's just business. When I'm done, you ain't got to speak about me no more. You ain't got to say anything about me no more, because my time's done now. I've left. You got new guys coming through. Think about them. Focus on them. I'm done. And so my aim is just to make as much as I can and create a legacy for myself, not for anyone else to have a talk about me, but just for myself to see and say, yeah, I'm proud of what I've done.
Does that mean then, do you have aspirations to become a world champion? Do you want to push yourself to that extent that you want to fight in these big fights, go to America, fight under the big headlights? What's the aim in boxing then? Because I know you don't want to do.
Everyone talks about becoming a world champion and blah blah. Everyone talks about my ambition to become a world champion. Me and Angel, we used to talk about this all the time, and I feel like Angel disagreed with my views on this. And I've always like, becoming a world champion to me is not the main thing.
Okay.
Whether there's but Angel was always like, to me, come on, Odi, have ambition, become a world champion. Angel's more about leaving a legacy. That's what Angel wants, a legacy. Whereas me, I'm not too concerned about leaving a legacy. So we always like, me and Angel, we'll sit in a car for hours or sit at home for hours just to have a talk about this. And we disagreed with each other's views, but it was all done in love.
Yeah.
Do I want to leave a legacy? Wait, what's the question again? I totally forgot.
Are your aspirations to become a world champion? Push yourself to that extent.
To become an world champion. I don't think the title makes the fight big. Whether there's a title or not, the fight can be massive. Listen, they can put AJ against Tyson Fury. Whether there's a title or not, the fight's going to be massive. When he fought against Conor McGregor, that was the biggest fight at the time. Conor, he was having his first ever fight as a pro boxer. Come on. I don't even think that in that fight, there was no belt on the line either. Come on, like, the belt doesn't make the fight big. Having a belt is good, it's important, yeah. I would love to win as many belts as I can, but at the same time, I have to understand the belt doesn't make the fight big. It's the two fighters that make the fight big. But having a belt is also good. I love all these belts I put here. The WBC International, the WBC Silver, the WBA International. I love all these belts. But becoming a world champion for me, it's not the main thing for me. I don't really
right,
care.
then going off that then, Odi, do you want to be in fights that you're going to be testing though? Is that what motivates you to be in this boxing game? Like, you're in fights, for example, your motivation for the last 3 fights was to win the golden contract. You've done that now. In the next 5 fights, you're going to be in potentially big fights because the money that you're earning is going to be quite big. So they're potentially going to push you into a bigger fight. Is that the goal, that at least being a competitive fight that's going to push you when you're training and whatever else you do?
My goal is just to win the fight.
Okay.
I never look past my next fight. Before I fought in my last fight, McKenna, I never looked forward to winning the golden contract and setting myself up. Everyone said to me, "You win this fight, you're set for life. You win this fight, you're gonna get big fight purses." I didn't really care, and I never care. I'm like, listen, I'm not looking past this fight. And as far as I'm concerned, every fight I have is my last fight. Before I fought in my last fight, as far as I'm concerned, I trained for that fight like it's my last fight, and I truly believed it was my last fight. I had an interview up on Sky, and then I even said, this fight, it might be my last fight. You might not see me again after this fight. I was in the hotel on the day of the fight, and I literally believed in my own mind that this is my last fight. I literally believed it. I was like, after this fight, I'm done. After this fight, I'm done, and that's the mindset now that I go into every fight with, because you plan too far ahead, and then when things don't go right, when things go wrong, you end up being a bit depressed, a bit sad, and this whole goal you set is just gone tits up. Before I fought Taylor, I had a plan. I'm gonna knock out Taylor, this bum, and I'm gonna go this and go that and win the world title and become a unified champion of the world. And then when I got proved as the bum in the fight, my whole plan was gone. I went home and I was sad. After that fight, I learned, don't plan ahead. Your goal is to win your next fight. It's not to win a title. It's not to win anything. It's just to win the fight. That's it.
Well, Odi, listen, I know you've been busy. Today you were busy. I was trying to get hold of you, and you've been out. I don't know where you've been, but you've been busy, man. But you've not had your 5 guys. You've not had these big meals, man. You were talking about these on Sky Sports. You named about 8 different meals that you wanted, and it seems that you've had none. What's the plans today? What are you having this weekend, man?
Today, I'm eating at the yard a bit later, and my friend James, and I'm not sure if you know James Argent from the Ouney and Ali Drew. My friend Emmanuel is also going to come down, and we're going out to Sheesh Chigwell. You know Sheesh Chigwell? We're going to have a big old munch at Sheesh. I'm looking forward to it. Listen, from now, I had a bit of food earlier, but I'm not going to eat now until 6:30. So when I go there, I'm going to be starving. That's going to be the start of my diet. Of my eating food as much as you can diet.
Oh dear, man, honestly, it's been a pleasure. Once again, congratulations on this big win and the golden contract win. And yeah, hopefully, man, we get to see you soon. I'll obviously come see you and Anthony very soon as well. So yeah, it'd be good to see you very soon, man. Take care, my bro.
Thanks, take care.
It was great talking to Ohara Davies then. Now we have Ali, who caught up with John Evans earlier this week. We spoke about the Josh Taylor fight, the Charlos. We know Josh Taylor within 2 minutes and whatever. I think there was about 20 seconds left. He hits happening Khongsong with that left hook to the body. I'm not sure what you guys made of that. I spoke to Josh Taylor for Seconds Out. I was doing work for Seconds Out this weekend, and he told me that he felt sometimes a fighter can feel a punch and they can feel the damage that he does on the opponent. He felt that his knuckles dug into his ribs, and you know, that's what happened. So speaking to Josh, he was convinced that that was a punch that landed, and he thought that it would cause damage. I'm looking online, people think otherwise, but I spoke to the fighter himself and he thought so. Ben Davison said that they were looking at this sort of game plan of, looking to attack the body. But to look at them interviews, they are on the Seconds Out website, Seconds Out YouTube channel. So make sure you go there if you want to have a look at the post-fight interviews I did with Josh Taylor and Ben Davison and the rest of the undercard fighters. But yeah, we've got Ali Drew here talking to John Evans about the Charlos, Josh Taylor, the World Boxing Super Series, and Joshua Buatsi. Check it out.
Today we have another great guest, someone who has been in the boxing media circuit for a long time. He has worked for the likes of Boxing News with 32 Red and is now on the Billy Graham's Boxing Podcast. It is John Evans. John, how are you and how is 2020 treating you?
How are you, Ali? 2020, yeah. I think it's treating me pretty badly, to be honest, but I don't think I'm alone in that. I think everybody's in the same boat at the moment, so there's no point in complaining. We've just got to get on with it and things will improve soon.
Is work sort of returning a bit for you? I presume it stopped during lockdown. Is it sort of going back to normal?
I've not had a day off. Well, I didn't have a day off from Christmas until the end of July, but I'm trying to do 3 or 4 different jobs at the moment. Work's terrible. Work's no real signs of it picking up either, which is the worrying part. But as I say, everybody in the world's in the same boat. We've just got to get on with it, haven't we? And fingers crossed, things pick up soon.
Hopefully. Right, well, we'll start off talking about the weekend just gone and the boxing shows that were on. So we'll start off with Josh Taylor. He had a very impressive win, first round knockout. Were you impressed by him? Obviously, we didn't get to see much because it was over in the first round, but what do you think is next for him?
I was very impressed with the way he went about it. People get criticised so much for these IBF mandatory challenges who they've got no control over. But I think the one way to deal with these guys is the way Josh did it. No messing about. Prove that you're in a different league to them. Prove that they're a terrible challenger. Get it over and done with as quickly as you can and move on. We hear lots of people say, it's a potential banana skin or it's a keeping time fight. Josh used it as a showcase to show just how good he is. And I think that's the ideal way to go about it. It also built up lots of steam, didn't it, for this big, undisputed fight we're hopefully going to get. And lots of people are saying Jose Ramirez, but it'll either be Jose Ramirez or Jack Catterall. And you would assume that's going to be Josh's next fight. Who
would you prefer him to fight next?
This is tricky because I know Jack well, so maybe that biases your opinion. But Jack's been the number 1 contender for a long time and deserves a chance.
Yeah, he's been waiting a while.
I just think sensible head should come into play here. Maybe Ramirez can give up his WBO belt and then we can get a true number 1 fight between Josh Taylor and Ramirez, and then the winner of that can fight Jack Catterall for all the titles. So instead of getting 1 big fight, the fans get 2 big fights. They get to find out who's the number 1 and then they get the true undisputed fight. So you get 2 for the price of 1.
Over in the US, the Charlo twins both won. 1 by knockout, 1 unanimous decision. How impressive are they to you?
They're entertaining, aren't they? They're certainly characters. And I think at the moment, given everything that's going on, boxing needs characters. And the Charlo twins, I think they're must-see TV. Everything from the interviews they do, the arguments they have between themselves. They seem to have bought into the wrestling way of promoting things with the little promos that they cut. I think they're great to watch and they're improving steadily as fighters. They've got that. Not many fighters have got it. It's like the explosiveness and the ability to just produce something spectacular at any given second. It can come without setup. And both the Charlos, maybe Jamel to a little greater degree, have just got that ability to make something happen in a split second. And that means you can't take your eyes off them.
Because they are proving they're great fighters, but they're almost a business. The way they do everything is a business. They're building a brand, and it's more than just the fact that they are good fighters, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like I said, the way they promote themselves, they're always at 100%, aren't they? They never slow down. You never get a benign answer off a Charlo brother. If you ask him something, he's going to give you everything he's got. I think they're great. And I know later on we're going to talk about these unusual fights that may happen, freak show fights. It really wouldn't surprise me for Charlo brothers getting it on at some point, just to capitalise on that business thing. I think they're very switched on guys.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I bet that will happen. That probably will. Most brothers would never ever fight each other, but that probably will happen.
Yeah, the Charlo brothers are one on their own, aren't they?
The World Boxing Super Series was also on. So Briedis won. What did you know? He got the Muhammad Ali trophy. What did you think of that?
I was really pleased for Marius Briedis. Although, to be honest, I would have been pleased for Mr. Dorticos as well. They've both been mainstays of this cruiserweight division for a long time now. It's one of the most underrated divisions, but it's always one of the most exciting. And those two guys have been nearly men. They both lost in the semi-finals and final last time, but both been real good, quality, exciting guys for a long time. And Briedis really showed up well. I thought he boxed really well. He was a clear winner and got a nice deserved payday. He was a policeman, wasn't he? He's actually got a day job. He's a policeman in Latvia. So
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it might just bring his retirement date forward a few years. He might have just been able to put a few extra pounds in his pension pot, but well-deserved win for Briedis.
I agree, actually, with when you say the cruiserweight division is a bit underrated, because obviously, people talk about the heavyweight division a lot, understandably, but the cruiserweight is, and even in Britain, it's very, very strong. But I do think it is an underrated division. Like, it's not as talked about as the others. Why do you think that is?
I don't think it's always been an unfashionable division. When you think about it, the great fighters are in all the other weight classes. They can roll off your tongue, but cruiserweights, it's slim pickings, really. I mean, you've got Evander Holyfield, David Hay, Alexander Usyk. They're probably the three that stand out, and I've got no idea why. When you look at a 200-pound man, he should have the perfect mix of speed and power. It's why people like the middleweights. He's the average sized man, whereas a 200-pound man should be able to move quickly and also have that snap and ability. I just think that the heavyweight division draws the more talented people because it offers more money and greater height. And I think that's all it is. It's just an unfashionable division. But if people actually spent the time to watch it and get to know the people who are in it, some of the most ridiculous fights of the last decade have been at cruiserweight.
Well, looking ahead to upcoming fights, so this weekend, Buatsi takes on Calic on Sunday, I think it is.
Yeah.
Are you excited about this fight?
I'm not particularly excited about the fight, but I do love Joshua Buatsi. And this is his opportunity, isn't it? In the last 3 months, we've seen Lyndon Arthur look the best he's ever looked, beating Dex Spellman. We saw Anthony Yard get rid of a rust by beating Dex Spellman. I was half expecting Josh Buatsi to get
Dex Spellman as well.
But thankfully, Dex getting a little bit of a break and a rest. But this is Joshua's turn to show what he can do, because a year ago, Buatsi was rated as the British light heavyweight for the future. And maybe he's just slipped back a little bit through inactivity. So if Joshua Buatsi does what he can do, what we all know he can do, then he should be right up in that mix again with Arthur and Yard. And fingers crossed, fans can get back into the venues and can see those three have a little triangle over the next 18 months.
Yeah, do you think that'll happen? Obviously, there was talk of, the cross promotions happening. I guess the Yard and Lyndon Arthur fight won't happen until there's crowds, I'm assuming. Do you think that it'll sort of eventually happen? Those type of fights, maybe cross promotion?
I think it's got to. Sooner or later, with most big fights and good fights, public pressure builds, doesn't it, to the point where it's got to happen. It generally happens 3 years too late down the line, but all British fights do tend to come together. And I think, especially if Yard came through the Arthur fight, because Yard is such a big character, a big name, a big personality, I think him and Buatsi would have to happen. If Yard came through, maybe Buatsi might just, although they've fought as amateurs and Buatsi won, maybe they might just stay apart a little bit longer. But I think if Yard and Buatsi both come through, I think that would have to happen by next summer.
Well, that was Ali talking to John. We've also got Joshua Buatsi talking about his fight on Sunday, which is a weird day. Sunday, even when I was in the media call, I was saying I started saying Saturday because it's just so natural. But yes, Sunday, about his fight with Marko Calic. Calic also had bits to say about his opponent. So we pulled out the best bits for yourself. I spoke to Josh about having the Ghanaian support. We know his cousin Isaac Dogbo has fought in Ghana. He's fought on the big stage as well. We know he's a top ranked fought in America, and how much of an inspiration he was as well.
Been over a year, but I'm itching to get in. And finally, I've got a date secured, and Sunday is when I go back in and I return. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you feel that it's kind of maybe been a year wasted and you've got some time to make up now over the next kind of looking forward?
Nah, man. And it is what it is. There's been two camps that, the fights didn't materialize, but there's also been, as we know, the world pandemic. So I wouldn't say anything's been wasted, man. I'm in good spirits now, fit, healthy, strong. So, the time could have been used better, but has it been wasted? No, I wouldn't say that.
This fight on Sunday, and not looking past it, but how far do you think world titles and stuff are now away for you? And how do you kind of deal with maybe a bit of pressure that you're kind of being built up as this big rising star in the light heavyweight division?
Pressure is always there, Chris. It's been there from the amateurs, even before getting on GB and that. It's very normal. The pressure is very, very normal. If there weren't pressure, then it'd be actually quite weird, but the pressure is always there. And that's what gets me up to run, to do this, to do that, to not eat what I want to eat, and to be a bit more sensible. So pressure is always there, man. Like it's inevitable, do you know what I mean? So it's good to be around.
Josh, what's going on, man?
What's happening, big man?
All good, all good. Let's talk about this COVID life and how's things in the hotel. What are you up to in these, whilst you're just isolating and sitting in the room?
Yeah, bro, it's been all right. It went quicker than I thought. Do you know what I did? I slept during the time of waiting for the results, so that helped me out a lot. But again, I'm grateful that everyone in the team was all clear. I got the all clear. We've all had the all clear, and it's just about killing time now till Sunday. Just
one from myself. A few of the guys spoke about your support in the UK and whatever else. But what's the support like in Ghana? We know that you go back home. You like to be very close to your roots. But what's the support like back home for yourself?
It's okay when I go home. I think those that know boxing will be like, oh, there's that guy that boxes X, Y, and Z. Whereas people like my little cousin, Isaac Dogbo, he's got the support out there. He's boxed out there a few times, actually. So when he goes, I can assume that he recognizes that he's well known. But it would be a lie to be like, oh, yeah, when I go, I'm stopped every day, this and that. No, I'm not. I still get stopped, and people are like, oh, you're the boxer X, Y, and Z. But it's not to the extent that I would expect my little cousin Isaac Dogbo to be stopped at. It's rising, and we're happy with that.
Actually, just talking about Isaac, how much of an inspiration has he been? Because we know that the Ghanaian people have taken to him, and also he's fought on world levels, he's fought on the big scene. How much of an inspiration is he to your career?
Big inspiration, man. Speak to him quite a bit. Almost touching base, back and forth. He's in the States right now, but big inspiration to see what he's done. He was a former world champion, boxed in Ghana, took the title home. The support, the love from everyone, man. And most importantly, I like him as a person as well, man. So besides everything, I like him as a person, and I like who he is. So that's the most important thing.
JB, good luck on Sunday. Speak soon, man. Take care.
Of course, if I win, it will be a big time for me. The whole world, boxing world, will know my name, and they put me straight in the I think top 20 in the world. So there will be a big chance for me after the fight if I won for a world title or something. I'm looking forward to the fight.
Was Buatsi someone you knew well coming through? He wasn't long in the amateur ranks, but obviously he boxed at the Olympics, and you spent quite a bit of time in the amateur ranks as well.
Yeah, of course I know him since 2014, 15. I've been in European Championship, and he was also there. So I watched him a lot before, and now in professionals also.
Do you think he's suited by the professional game more than the amateur game? And same to you.
Sorry.
Do you think he's suited more by professional boxing than amateur boxing? And you as well. Does it suit your style more?
Yeah, I think because I have more time to figure out opponent and to my tactics is more like professional. So I think he's also more professional than suits more professional than amateur.
How do you see the fight going on Sunday?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to anyway, however it goes. So we will see.
Firstly, welcome to the UK. Big fight on Sunday for yourself.
Yes.
Just talking about the situation that we're in regards to COVID. There's you're going to be fighting in front of no fans. Is that good for yourself in the sense that you're coming over, you're the away fighter, but there's no one sort of hurling abuse, or there's no one sort of shouting against you or cheering on Joshua Buatsi?
Look, for me, it's the same because I'm fighting in UK. So for him, it's worse than for me. If we fight in Croatia, then it'll be worse for me. But for me, it's the same. So.
And just sort of growing up, and I know Ron spoke about it, about your upbringing, but who was your inspiration to boxing? Which fighters did you used to watch and brought you into boxing?
Well, a lot of fighters, but maybe my favorite was Evander Holyfield.
Okay, and why is that?
He's just brave man. He can adapt to any style, and you need to kill him to stop him.
Okay, fair enough. And just talking about Sunday's fight, what sort of weaknesses do you see in Joshua Buatsi?
I will see in the fight how fight goes, but I see a few things, but we will see.
She's an experienced opponent, not necessarily the number of fights, but obviously extended her amateur career so she could represent Brazil at Rio. Adriana Araujo, I'm not quite sure if I've got that right, but the Pitbull, as she's known, I mean, you've already said you're not going to have to go looking for her, but are we going to expect then that this is going to be pretty much toe-to-toe from the off?
100%. It's what I'm expecting. She's gonna come at me, and I'm gonna go at her, and we're gonna meet in the middle. And I think it's gonna play into my hands because I'm not gonna have to go looking for her. She's gonna be there to be hit. So I'm really looking forward to this fight.
Yeah.
Chantelle, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very good. Just on kind of women's boxing and the growth of it. When you were coming through at GB, you surely did you even think that pro world titles would be possible, or even what going for financially and stuff?
No, because at the time when I was on the GB set, there was not really nothing going on for women's boxing. It was only when Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields turned over, and their first couple of fights were on TV, that a lot of noise was made about women's boxing. So when I actually left the amateurs, I had no plan to turn professional.
Oh, really? What was your kind of plan at that time?
I was going to go to Australia to work. So
Really?
I was going to go travel for you. I spent 8 years on GB. It was a long time. So I was going to go travel and see the world for a bit. But
what kind of what prompted you to do that? Why did you not think you were going to get a shot at the Olympics? Or
I didn't qualify for the Olympics. Obviously, I knew that had kind of like gone out the window, and I just thought boxing was done for me because the amateurs didn't suit me, and because there's nothing going on for women's professional. In the professional game, I just thought that's it. I had a little thing like going into MMA.
Just one question from me. Just talking about what my colleague was saying before, Ames, the first question he asked was the popularity of boxing, female boxing. When I look at the popularity of women's sport, I always refer to the UFC when it comes to combat sport, because they pushed the female side as much as the men's side. How far does she think the boxing side of the females boxing is behind the UFC?
Ele falou o seguinte, que apesar de você ter falado que o boxing está se tornando muito popular, mas o UFC vem enfiando mulheres e promovendo elas e ficou gigantesco. Ele perguntou o que você acha, quanto atrás está o boxing feminino e o que precisa para chegar até o nível do UFC feminino.
Eu acho que o que precisa realmente é mais oportunidade, né? Conheço muitos atletas muito boa pelo mundo e o que falta realmente é a oportunidade dessas atletas estar lutando, assim como o UFC dá a oportunidade, né, para várias meninas em várias categorias. Eu acho que o que falta é a oportunidade no boxe feminino.
She thinks that the women need more opportunity. UFC gave to the women opportunity all the time, for a lot of them. Boxing is not so like that. Some few promotions is promoting female boxing, like Matchroom or other companies in the world, but she needs more opportunity. If we have a more opportunity, more women fighters come to the boxing. In Brazil, a lot of women boxers goes to UFC to make money. So now it's open the market.
What does she make of Amanda Nunes, who's...
Sorry, can you repeat?
What does she make of her fellow Brazilian Amanda Nunes and her rise to the top in the UFC?
O que você acha da Amanda Nunes ter chegado no alto do UFC?
Amanda Nunes era minha amiga pessoal.
Is a personal friend.
Okay.
E convivi muito com ela, vi muita dificuldade. A gente no Brasil tem muita dificuldade em questão de patrocínio.
We live very closer. She had a lot of difficulty, like me in Brazil. It's difficult for even UFC
Existe
women
essa falta de oportunidade.
because there is no opportunity.
E a Amanda é uma diferenciada que conseguiu fazer a diferença indo para os Estados Unidos e conseguiu mostrar o talento dela.
Amanda is different. She goes to US, starting there, and show to the world that she's talented.
Just final question from myself. For the last year, there's been talks about Amanda Nunes and Clarissa Shields possibly having a crossover fight. What does she make of that if that fight was to happen?
Que existe uma chance aí da Amanda Nunes fazer uma cross luta contra Clarissa Shields. O que você acha?
Na verdade, é Shields que quer, né?
She said that actually Shields wants the fight, not Amanda.
Okay. Fair enough.
Amanda é lutadora de MMA. Né?
Amanda is a MMA fighter, not boxing. If he's in boxing rules.
Se a Shields quer tanto lutar com ela, que ela vá pro MMA.
If the Shields want a lot to fight against Amanda, goes to UFC and fight MMA rules.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you. Good luck on Sunday. Thank you very much. You know that you bring a lot of fans in the crowd, and that's probably partially one part of the reason why you'd be looked at by other promoters before you signed with Eddie. But this time around, and even like last time, there's going to be no fans out there. How much will that play on your mindset, or is it just getting on with the job in hand?
Well, to be fair with you, I was a very experienced amateur. Really, I had 70, 80 fights as an amateur. Boxed up and down the country, all over the world, all over Europe. So, you know, I'm used to it, and I've only been a pro like a year. So, you know, it's just going back to them days. Looking at the setup in there, I think it'll be nicer than some of the amateur shows. But you know, it'll be very similar. So, you know, I'm used to it, and a fight's a fight at the end of the day.
So just talk to me about the setup in Manchester with Jamie Moore. You've got great fighters around like Carl Frampton and whatever else. But just talk to me about how they sort of rub off on you and somebody you're very young in your professional career, but you can get sort of advice of more matured fighters, people who have been world champions.
Yeah, I just try and learn bits of all of them. The way I am, I think that if you keep doing that and keep nicking bits of good fighters and improving your skills, and obviously because everyone goes to a gym and anyone can get fit, it's about learning and being, getting the education of them sort of fighters, because they've been in, big fights and boxed at high level, won titles, etc. So it's about nicking things from all of them and improving my own style, adding more to my game, which, it's a great gym to be in.
Just one question from myself, Aki. What sort of pushed you to get into boxing? We know back in the day, Amir Khan sort of made it for the British Pakistanis, and there was a lot of people who started to attend the gyms after Amir Khan went through the Olympics and whatever else. But what was your inspiration into getting into the sport?
Yeah, obviously Amir played a big part in that, and now he's someone who if I need any advice and stuff, I can ring him and ask him. He's a good friend, so he was one of definitely the big influences. But I was always fighting from the age of 5, 6 even. I was really fat. I used to get picked on quite a lot. but I'd always answer back with a big right hand or a thick left hook. So my dad one day had enough and just drove me to the wasn't even a local gym. It was about a 40-minute drive, and then the rest is history. And I was there for 10 years as an amateur, and now turning over. It's flown by, to be honest. And now I'm on this journey as a professional, signed to Matchroom. Looking forward to the journey. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, but that's me done. I'm going to pass it on to either Ames or Ryan. Thank you very much, bro. Alan, how's it going, my friend? You okay?
Very good, very good.
Alan, just talk to me about how grateful you're fighting again, because there's a lot of fighters out there who are not fighting. They're not fought in 2020. It's going to be 2, if you win this fight, maybe 3 times in 2020 for yourself. So how grateful are you that you're going to be fighting again?
Well, I said to Eddie Hearn the first day I went to pro, like last year. I said I want 10 fights a year. If you can make it, I'm going to fight it, And I think fans are going to enjoy that because I am different and I bring something different to this game, because I want to fight. I'm here for fighting. I've done my training. I've done my sparring. I've done everything. Now give me fights, You just see what I can do. Test me.
And just talking about yourself, every time I look on social media, there seems to be some sort of video regarding yourself. Now you're getting a bit more familiar in the media game. How are you dealing with all of this sort of new life? Because before you joined Dillian Whyte, you were fighting in Croatia, but now there's a lot of cameras on you, there's a lot of people that you need to talk to. How are you dealing with that sort of pressure?
Well, I surprised myself with how good I deal with that. I didn't know what I'm going to, because later my guy from the Croatia knows. When media called me out, I was devastated. Just a small, small place called me out. I was devastated. Now it's good. It's good. It's very good. People love me. People accept me for who I am. And I speak like I am, so I have nothing to hide. And people recognize that, and they love me, and I love them for it. So it's been great.
Just final question from myself. You've got this name, the Savage, you've got this mean persona around you, but just sort of bringing you into boxing and your inspiration. Who was your inspiration bringing you into boxing? Was there certain fighters that you were watching when you were younger?
Yeah, of course. It was all the fighters from the golden age of boxing, golden era of boxing, or the heavyweights. But Joe Frazier was always my idol, and he's always going to be because of his humbleness, his ruthlessness in the ring. That's what I try to mimic. That's why I am like him. And Dillian is also one of my idols, because I see him. He has nothing stopping. He speaks what he wants, and I saw it and I said, I can do that. I like this guy. So Dillian is also a big part of my confidence.
Well, guys, that was Chantelle and the rest of the fighters on the undercard. What do you make of the fight this weekend? Do you feel like it should be an easy win for Josh, and then hopefully without any more delays, that maybe we get to see that yard fight, or if not the yard fight, he just pushes further forward for world title, and then from there we see where Yard is, we see where Buatsi is. Where do you guys feel like that fight needs to happen? Does it need to happen next year? Do you feel like both fighters need to be challenging for world titles? Personally, myself, I just want to see that fight as soon as possible. That fight is probably when Frank Warren pulled out that press release, and he had his fighters versus Eddie Hearn's fighters, I think, apart from Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, which we're hoping happens in 2021. Personally think it probably happen in 2022, maybe. I don't know. It's just crazy with the big fights. But Buatsi Yard was the one that stood out the most, and a lot of boxing people are talking about that fight. It's a fight that salivates a lot of fight fans. Let's see what happens with that one. But guys, thank you very much for tuning into the Under the Light show. We've had a few things for yourself, but before we go, make sure to like, subscribe, share the content, help us grow, and hopefully we'll have more great shows for yourself. This was Ouney. This was Under the Lights. Speak to you soon. Take care.